Hey guys, Shadow Knight here, back again. Not much has been going on since last time I posted, since it was just yesterday. So, yeah, other than that, just been a good day, lounging at home, watching Supernatural, doing some exercises, gotta get in shape for the Navy. Yeah. Um, well, without further ado, let's get to the game. So, last time we were here, we got we had just left the stronghold and went on our way to find the next big thing, which happened to be the Dark Reaver. So after we got that, we came up here. Here, I think I have the volume on a little low. I don't hear anything. What about you guys? That's really weird. Now that I think about it, I didn't hear anything when it came to the start menu. Yeah, give me a sec. I'm gonna restart the game. God, I hope I kept this off the game or video.
Rewards the defiant. The ones who reach the pinnacle and climb even higher.
Alright, there we go. We're back. Now, wait till we're actually back in. Alright, there we go. We're back. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it wasn't back. But yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was, so I just restarted the game. Fight that just a little bit. So, earlier I was eating beef jerky, and I'm like, damn, this tastes really good, especially for beef jerky. Because it was teriyaki flavored, and normally when I get teriyaki flavored beef jerky, it doesn't taste as good as I thought it would. But with this specific brand, it's a different bag than you find at like Walmart or Myers, depending on where you live. I actually got it from a Wesco. It was really good. It had a little bit of spice in with it, and it was just to die for. It was just that good a jerky. And so, it got me on the track of thinking, what do souls taste like for Raziel? Do they have different tastes depending on who their owner was? Or do they all taste exactly the same? Because if they all taste exactly the same, I feel really bad for Raziel for having to go through that. Never being able to taste anything that's not a soul. Or can he even taste them? At all? Because yeah, without a tongue, no taste receptors? Then again, without a digestive system or anything like that, how does he eat? How does a soul sustain him? What's it like for him when he eats? See where I'm getting here? It's just kind of out there, odd, but true. I thought you'd see Ariel there. I like how they built this function. That way you can just kind of like jump down. You don't have to go all the way around.
There it is.
And it's not like you have to fight them either. Sure, it's a great mechanic for the game, but you don't have to. See, I can just be like, bye suckers, and run. Just because I don't want to deal with them right now. Just, oh, you thought you were going to attack me? No.
Get it!
Hello. Nope. Nope. Or maybe so. There we go, there's the nope.
There's one.
Nope. Into the water we go. And again for Bobby. Or Bobby?
There's one. Die!
If I remember right, in the last episode it said something about, or
Die!
earlier in the game it said something about, something being around here. Okay, Nate, you are getting real tired. Thank you for dying.
Get it!
I have the feeling this was just to get to there.
Two arms!
It almost looks like the climbing mechanic area. Oh, holy snap. Bowing is much. Are they bowing? Bobbing? Oh, not bowing. Looks like I spoke too soon. Just like right there. There's the door. let me. That's the one thing so far that I don't like about this game. Just the fact that it keeps doing it. Now, I'm wondering, what is so special about the Dark Reaver? I mean, it doesn't seem to hold any valuable properties other than opening that door so far. Maybe we'll find out in this video. Just starts letting out a tiny scream. Right there, there's something.
These murals left no room for doubt. These winged creatures were indeed the architects of the pillars. And while the images were difficult to decipher, the pillars appeared to banish or diminish their enemies somehow.
Okay, so I'm here at my dad's, as you all know. I think I told you in the last one. He's got this thing full of barrels of yum. This is not yum. It's a green one. I thought it was gonna be like green apple, like Jolly Ranchers. No, I think it's pickle. And those really sour pickles. I'll be back. I can handle this. I gotta get a Pepsi and get this taste out of my mouth. I'm sorry about that, guys. Normally I love the taste of pickles, but not those ones. Not like that. It tastes more like that pickle juice than anything. I like how Roswell's like, come on kid, just break or pop my neck while I wait for you. That's pretty neat. Creates a little bridge for me. What do you want back? I'm sorry, I still can't get the taste of that barrel of yum out of my mouth. Oh, he doesn't do that. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to get him to do that. He wasn't doing that right here. He was only whack-a-mole. Yeah, I can't get that taste of barrel of yum out of my mouth. It's just, that thing tastes heckin' awful. Just, not to knock on you barrel of yum guys that like those, but it just that pickle juice taste. That sour pickle juice taste. I was really hoping it'd be green apple. Yeah, sorry guys if I yawn a little much. I was up last night editing some videos and helping a friend out. Okay, so I'm gonna need to find a way to get Dark Reaver to get through that door. So I just need that. Nope, I need Dark Reaver there too. How about down here? A Dark Reaver thing? Nope. So I say I don't think I saw anything for Dark Reaver. Those gems. They look similar to the ones that are out on those posts. I wonder. Oh, that's right. Is that? Most of this temple is going to be played on this end. Obviously, it will. You know why I found this. I don't want to lose any life to this guy. Oh, what's that? That eye just killed him. I don't like the way that eye looks. Wait, Dark Reaver. That symbol on the ground is with Dark Reaver. I might have to hit him with the Dark Reaver's thing. The telekinetic blast thing. But also more of a chance of it taking part of my life. I don't like that. Okay, so another Dark Reaver area. Nice. Look down there. Thank you. Seems to me I'm gonna get something and put it there. Oh, that one shines. Cool. Grab this and let's this way. Because I think I got shyness on that. Yup. Now let's see what's on the other side. Pick it up. Thank you. Aha, that's the thing you get set into what you call the circle opening on the other end. I bet you that's what that's for. Killed this guy, so he got so scared to bring it off. Yeah, real manly of the pale. Pal. Pale. But what do you want with that? This is just gonna fit right snug in here. Yes, I remember the other text. I'm pretty sure there'll be something on the other side that will let me re-enter the physical realm. Just barely. Okay, I don't understand that. There was nothing for him to slip on. Sorry if I was seeing if it's back on the camera view just a little bit. Is that another? Yup, that's another thing for the Dark Reaver. even to let me pass? Now stay open. Alright. Well, these guys can come back to life too. I like how he looks like he's just pushing his way past them. Even his one attack looks like he's just shoving his side. Sorry, I had a scratch. Push to the other side. I knew it. For some reason, I have a feeling this does not go in here, but maybe it does. Oh, I know. Oh, I hate this part. I'm gonna come unlock this door. I'm gonna hope this stays unlocked, but knowing my luck, it won't. Oh, it must have. Let's just look back. Okay, good, it did. I wonder if these special Reaver ones stay unlocked. And this one, I will either destroy itself or create a little walkway. What do you want? It just destroy itself practically. I live one half. Time to light the other. Okay then. I like how he's trying to hurt me, but he can't. Does that thing open? Sweet. Okay. So now that that's open, I'm gonna walk this long path. Okay, he just disappeared. Go walk this long path and see what happens when I shoot that thing in the eye. If it will, you know, let me pass. You're the one that made me. I'm gonna take your soul. no swords. Oh cool, I got to get away. I thought it was gonna kill me. Maybe I deactivated it by grabbing this. Jump! Jump. See, I gotta put it here, right? Is that supposed to be a miniature sun? Is that supposed to be a miniature sun? That looks kind of odd. And how would they test the way the mechanism moves if they had to break that to create that? Just to fill that. How would they test that without having to broken that millions of times? Because think about it, whenever you make something and you want to do what you specifically want it to do, for it to get there, you have to test it a bunch of times. Imagine how many times it will have had to been tested to get to that
I plunged the Reaver into the forge and imbued the blade with the elemental power of light. Thus armed, I now had the means to re-enter the stronghold and finally use Mobius's time-streaming device to accomplish my own ends.
I like how every time I get a new Reaver, awesome, a little bit of light comes with me. But as I was saying, I like how every time I get a new Reaver, my health bar goes up. I like that. That's actually really cool. And on the Reaver, it looks like it's a small drill or something. Seriously. Okay, so with this game, because it's on computer, the controls are really finicky for me. So I have to do this and then do strong attack, but I have to hold down the button for a second for it to actually move. It's like really finicky. It's gonna be hard to get exactly what it's at. Yeah, so if it looks like I'm not playing all that well because of that mechanic, because I cannot make those shots all that well, then that's the reason why it gives it that little bit of stick. You have to hold it, so you might just barely miss your shot. And you gotta be good. but it's closed. Is that what was it's closed? Oh, I bet now it's just gonna be a gate. Oh, nope. I thought it was gonna be like a gate and I had to go through this special route. There we go. No, I don't understand the meaning of the fire Reaver. Like why it's there. Not yet, anyway. I'm assuming we'll find out soon, though. Do I have to? Yeah, I need to be on the other side. Just get that way right now. And now it comes to. Okay, so dark's for eyes and bridges, so light is for the gems. So far, that's just about it. So far, all the Reavers have a special door they can open. And so like how we saw on the ground in that one place where the real fate god was, I wonder if the air was for that time looking thing in the swamp. I wonder if we need the air reaver for there. Because if you notice it was like bustling with a white, like air-ish look.
Arms! Taste my blade!
Jerky tasty. No. Yeah, I didn't think so. No one laughs at my jokes. I recognize this man. Not from this game, but from the next. It looks just a tad bit different, but... Well, okay, it looks a lot different. But it's definitely the same place. It's uncanny how close they resemble each other. I wonder if the strongholds are actually because I remember there being a place similar in the first one. So I wonder if the strongholds is regained. If so, that would be neat. But because the time difference is they seem a little bit less noticeable. Like, yeah, they look the same, but they're not technically. But as soon as you put the pieces together, that yes, they were once from a different time and age, that's when you're like, that's why. Oh, no wonder it looks familiar. I was in here at the beginning of the game. Now I hope I'm taking the right route, or I got the right choice in mind for this. I gotta come through here, don't I? No, because I can't get through there. medium prize Soul Reaver.
Get it!
I just lost the Light Reaver. Just go walk through here. I wonder if there's another thing to deal with that. Reaver. What's crying here? What could it have been?
Show yourself, Cain.
Here, Raziel. Everything is decided here. You cannot comprehend the magnitude, the rapture and the tragedy of this moment. And yet you must, if Nosgoth is to be dragged from the wreckage of its damnation.
I understand only this, Cain. That you and Mobius have impelled me to this moment simply means I can trust neither of you. I don't know who's pulling the strings, but it no longer matters, because I'm cutting them. I set my own course from here.
If it were only that simple.
Your fatalism is tiresome, Cain.
And profoundly ingrained, Raziel. You must understand, our presence here doesn't alter history. You and I meet here because we are compelled to. We have always met here. History is irredeemable. Drop a stone into a rushing river. The current simply courses around it and flows on as if the obstruction were never there. You and I are pebbles, Raziel, and have even less hope of disrupting the time stream. The continuum of history is simply too strong, too resilient. Except, then how do we explain William here? The beloved boy king turned tyrant. In my youth, I witnessed William's rise to power and his transformation into the nemesis who laid waste to Nosgoth.
Keep your distance, Cain.
Years later, I stumble upon a chance to journey back in history, unaware that the entire affair has been carefully orchestrated by Mobius. In my wisdom, I seize this opportunity to murder the young king before he can ravage Nosgoth, and thereby provide the catalyst Mobius needs to ignite a genocidal war against our race.
I warn you, no further.
This one reckless act unravels the skein of history. The nemesis never becomes the nemesis. William dies a martyred saint. I, the vampire assassin, become the author of my own species' extinction, and Mobius profits from it all. I destroyed a tyrant only to create one far worse. But how can it be so? How, if history is immutable? The answer is here in this room, Raziel. Mobius propelled William and me together, but ensured first that we were both armed with the Soul Reaver. The Reaver is the key. Two incarnations of the blade meet in time and space. A paradox is created, a temporal distortion powerful enough to derail history.
Is this your sorcery?
Not mine, Raziel. Yours. You have nothing to fear from me, Raziel. You hold all the cards.
Then perhaps I should test your sincerity. If what you say is true, you should be terrified. I could kill you here and now.
And so you do, Raziel.
What's happening?
We're hurtling towards our destinies, Raziel. What you feel is the pull of history rushing to meet us. This is where history and destiny collide. If you truly believe in free will, Raziel, now is the time to prove it. Kill me now, and we both become pawns of history, dragged down the path of an artificial destiny. I was ordained to assume the role of Balance Guardian in Nosgoth, while you were destined to be its savior. But the map of my fate was redrawn by Mobius, and so in turn was yours.
This is madness!
Fight it, Raziel. This moment does not have to be an ending. It can become a prelude.
I can't.
You can, Raziel. Look inside and see that it is so. You have the power to reshape our inevitable futures. Poor William.
What is this?
History, a pause, a paradox, Raziel. Even now, the time stream strains to divert itself, finding its old course blocked by your refusal to destroy me. The future is reshuffling itself to accommodate your monumental decision. This is where we restore ourselves, Raziel, and reclaim our intended destinies. It may yet be possible for me to assume my role as Balance Guardian and return the pillars to their rightful inheritors.
To the vampires. And this is the destiny you have urged me to discover. I don't know what game you and Mobius are playing, Kane, but I refuse to be your pawn. Unlike you, I still revere whatever shred of humanity I've managed to preserve. You will not use me as the instrument of your messianic delusions.
Very well, Raziel. I'll not ask you to trust me. Your truths are for you to discover alone.
Humble words for one who presumes to teach me a lesson at every turn.
Then continue your journey and learn your own lessons, Raziel. Remember, Mobius led you here, but you walk away unfettered. A champion of free will and conqueror of false histories. There is much more for you to unearth, if you have the heart for the truth and the will to see it.
Okay, so with the whole me doing this up in your corner, well, I was just thinking, time is a delicate matter. If them being in the past now just rewrote it with what Raziel just did, and they could physically feel that, then what if instead of going through all this like Kane is doing, why didn't he just go back and stop himself from going up against Sir What's-His-Name in the first place? Why didn't he just stop it? Then the pillars would have went back to the way they were supposed to be. Why did he continue? Why? Time is a delicate matter. I understand this, yes. But with all these different paradoxes, as he was saying they're creating, it's just weird, because some believe that at a point, a paradox will destroy reality, if it is a temporal paradox. But others believe that the paradox is just something that shouldn't have happened, that has happened. So this game is going off that what shouldn't have happened has happened, and changes the future entirely. But if it does that, shouldn't it, every time that the future is changed, it shouldn't only change the future, as in how I'm getting out of their little conversation right now, is that it changed the future in look only. But if it does change the future, shouldn't it change all outcomes out to that future? That means all decisions, all kills, deaths, rebirths, as the cycle has it, and all sorts of this other stuff. What paradox would make it so that way Kane doesn't make Raziel, and that Raziel doesn't go after Cain, or he doesn't even win in the battle. There are so many temporal distortions available that could have happened that along that way. It's just like, where does this end? Or is this actually the way time has set it? Because as they're talking about this, time to me almost seems like a god telling you this is how it is done. I mean, come on, it was over there pulling Raziel into trying to kill Cain. But with that pull, when Raziel was about to stab, Raziel left with the pull and gave it a little push, going not at Cain, but further than Cain. Time is a confusing matter. If any of you go on to invent a time machine, be careful. I'm going to bait this. It's actually a much needed thing that needs to be done. Yeah, I believe it was something dealing with looks like they tightened up security a little bit here, seriously, just watch me murder your friends. What is wrong with you, lady? Yeah, I just came in through there. I think last time I came in through here. So let's exit through here.
There's enough.
Quit shooting at me. I don't care who you are. Quit shooting. Give me the sword. Give me that. And let me through. Thank you. Oh, is that so hard? I like how he just says, like, okay. So this is happening.
Seize him!
I like how it's just a dog. It's just ironic. The dog, the dog really needed. Were vampires clawing at the dog's heads when they were hunting vampires in their game that much that the dog needed a helmet? Who is this for? Nope. What is this for? Yep, it was. When you get so turned around, it's not fun. I'm so confused on where I am. I think I'm heading back to the time chamber. because there's the thing of, like, I will enter through this door behind this guy. Yeah, because these are the time chamber doors.
I like that look on your face, Mobius. You really don't know what to do now, do you, old man? Here you are, caught without your damned staff. And I suspect things aren't progressing quite as you'd hoped. You're not used to the fly turning to confront you in your web, are you?
Kane's devious influence has poisoned your mind, Razio. Now you see betrayal everywhere, even in your closest allies.
We were never allies, Mobius. Conspirators, perhaps. Briefly.
Why did you not kill Kane when you had the chance? He was at your mercy.
Precisely. I had a choice, and I chose mercy. And now I know your sordid little secret. The significance of that displacement I felt when the two Reavers came together. Strangely enough, I was enlightened by the devious Kane, not by you. In fact, I've learned much more than you counted on. I understand now how you've tried to manipulate all of history for your own personal gain. But now all your little schemes are whirling in ruin around you, aren't they? All because I chose to exert my will for once, rather than obey the demands of sorcerers and spirits and demons, all singing the same tiresome refrain, "Kill Kane." I'm setting my own path from here, Mobius. I intend to discover the truth behind all of this.
But you condemn us all with this impetuous act.
Hardly impetuous. It took all the will I could muster. Has my refusal to kill Kane reshuffled your carefully stacked deck of cards?
You really think that you're exercising your free will, Razio? You're simply Kane's servant.
I do not serve Kane. I merely did not kill him.
Raziel, do not forget your purpose here. You are destined to be the savior of Nosgoth.
Oh, I'm sick of hearing that particular phrase. As for saving Nosgoth, so far I see precious little reason to bother. And I'll choose my own purpose from here on out, Time Streamer. Right now, I choose to manipulate you for a change. Go. In there.
What are you doing?
Come, Mobius. You're a cunning serpent. You'll piece it together, I imagine. This error is of no further use to me. You will operate this device to provide me passage. I want to see the world in a simpler time, before the Sarafan began their crusade.
And what about Kane? You're leaving your core behind.
You kill him if it's so damned important.
You need only touch the two poles of the switch, and the device will transport you. But I urge you to reconsider.
You've lost your powers of persuasion, old man. Rot here and forget me.
I don't like that smile. I think he actually sent me into his future. A dystopic future. Because, look here. You see how the glass, it's almost looking cracked? Everything looks older in a way. Look, even those gears are rusted over. At least I think that's what the brown is supposed to be. Yup, he sent me to the dystopic future.
Even as I emerged from that infernal time-streaming chamber, I suspected treachery. The stronghold was vacant, derelict, abandoned.
Ah, crap. Give me just a second, guys. I'll be right back if it starts to go black again. Oh, no, not this time. This time it gave me an accurate warning. Sorry about that. I really dislike my computer with this. Mobius! You treacherous, cheating coward! I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to show me a world where Cain lives. Too bad for him. I've already seen this world. Sword in the person, off sword in the stone. Can I pull it? Am I the king? Wow, that was way too easy. I guess I'm the king. Oh wow, I'm really got pissed. years or so, maybe? Maybe 1,000. Just in time. It just barely missed. Thank you. I really don't like fighting down there. Seriously? Okay, the barrier was enough. Why do you have to act like... See? Why? The guy stopped! Thanks for like... I just can't keep... You over here. It's your team. You're stuck. I'm not gonna get stuck while attacking, am I?
Any doubts about the era I now occupied, this grotesque tableau certainly eliminated them. For here was Mobius, long since murdered by Cain, lionized and beatified as the martyred leader of his bloodthirsty crusade. And if I required further evidence, I needed only to behold the gruesome trophy Mobius held aloft. The severed head of Vorador. The final triumphant kill of Mobius's cutthroat mob. His execution marked the annihilation of the vampires. Far from channeling me into Nosgoth's past, Mobius had propelled me over a century to its ghastly future. The intent behind this little detour was unmistakable. Having failed to make me his obedient assassin, Mobius intended to keep me ignorant of my true destiny, which clearly lay in Nosgoth's past. While his deception only reinforced my purpose, Mobius had effectively stranded me here. This left me no course but to explore the era I now occupied and see what changes the century had wrought following Cain's ill-fated decision. Perhaps time had cleared a path for me into the mountains, where I might unearth more clues behind the mystery of Janos Audron.
That extra light might come in handy. Oh, it's not pulsating anymore. Is the sword? No, the sword's gone. I wonder where the soul Reaver went. If they don't run, I'm gonna just run for them. Don't block it. Yay, don't block. Yeah, I can walk right through, sweet.
Raziel.
Okay.
What pathetic charade is this now, Mobius?
No charade, Raziel. Only the entreaties of this martyred spirit.
Your pleas mean nothing to me after all your deceit. You have propelled me into Nosgoth's future, Mobius, and left me stranded here.
I am truly sorry, Raziel, but it was necessary. Consider it the last valiant act of a doomed man. You have strayed from your purpose, and now behold the result. Gaze upon the wasteland you and Cain authored together.
I fail to see how I'm responsible.
You spared Cain, and by doing so, you have released a multitude of horrors upon this world. I can accept that Cain has murdered me, Raziel. As the Time Guardian, I foresaw that incident long before it occurred, and I take some small comfort in the fact that Cain remains the sole survivor of his vile breed. But you have single-handedly made my sacrifice meaningless.
Your argument is disingenuous, Time Streamer. I cannot see how killing or sparing Cain's future self would alter these events. This wasteland was created by Cain's original refusal at the Pillars. Amidst all these twists and turns, that event has never changed. You are cunning, Mobius. I think you've gotten tangled in your own web.
As Cain clings to his precious seat of power, the pillars sink into a mire of decay, dragging all of Nosgoth down with them.
I don't think this has anything to do with the Pillars, or Cain's failure to sacrifice himself. I think you're simply afraid, because you don't know what he's up to. He's a wild card, isn't he? And you don't want his influence in your game. Which is why you wanted me to eliminate him. Well, now that he survived, you have no idea what's coming, do you? Maybe, for the first time in your entire life, you're terrified that he may have truly found a third option out of the dilemma you orchestrated for him.
Cain's lies have addled your mind. Leave this place and trouble my spirit no more.
Okay, if I'm a soldier, why can't you just suck it entirely leave his soul?
If you even are a spirit, you've forgotten. I have a way to tell for sure. If you're willing to risk it. I didn't think so. Either way, you lose.
I like how me and Raziel were along the same lines. So yeah, actually, my computer has been prone to freezing. So that could just mess with other games. I've been playing some other games, making sure they all ran right. So who knows, that may have just been that one particular game, but better safe than sorry, right guys? In case it does freeze, I will cut it out so you know. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. Now then, if it didn't freeze, this is where we will continue. Don't you guys like taking I like the axes. They just do a better job, in my opinion. Oh, I don't have to go all the way around. I can just
These were the pillars so familiar to my blighted eyes. But now that I had begun to learn their true significance, I regarded the pillars' destruction with a new, enlightened sense of horror. And I questioned now whether Cain's simple refusal, his mere ambition, could truly have caused such devastation. I felt that some darker influence was at work here. As I approached, I discerned the spirit of Ariel, bound here now for more than a century.
Forever am I bound, hope abandoned, my spirit tethered to this place. What destroyed the circle could not touch me, for I was newly dead and beyond harm's reach. I alone was spared the descent into madness, and Cain alone was spared the pain of death. When Nepraptor's poison seized Cain even in the safety of the womb, much more than just his destiny was lost. All of Nosgoth lost balance. Consider us now, both of us less than we once were. I, pure but insubstantial, and Cain terribly real, but corrupted.
Your imprisonment here has deranged you, spirit. You fixate on Cain because you believe he is the tether that binds you here. But we both know he is not the author of your agony. The pillars were subverted by dark forces, invited by the Guardians themselves. The more I learn of your circle, the more I see a tangle of nested manipulations.
Cain handed them their victory. They sought to topple the pillars, and he was their willing instrument.
Or was he their unwilling pawn? Would it blunt your wrath to know that Cain's dilemma was calculated to bring the pillars down, regardless of the choice he made, and that the devastation would have been even greater had he chosen the path you would prescribe for him?
You are a subtle, deceitful creature. But your clever arguments do not absolve Cain. He must die for the pillars to be restored. There is no other way.
Then consider this more ominous possibility. What if Cain's death does not restore the pillars? Consider that it may simply be too late, that this world may be beyond redemption, and that you may be bound here eternally.
Why do you hound me, demon? You can see that I am captive here. Show me some mercy.
Like the mercy you showed your fellow Guardians when you set Cain on them? Or the mercy you showed Cain when you kept him ignorant of his destiny while you used him as the scourge of the Circle? Or perhaps like the mercy you showed your beloved Naprapta when you made him Cain's first kill?
You are cruel. Why do you torment me?
I'm merely looking for answers, Ariel. Very well. I'll leave you in peace. But know this about you and this purgatory from which you long to escape. You're merely at the threshold.
I liked it when your character gave the crypt. That device, the cryptic message. If I'm not dead, I'm running. I'm not wanting to die, so I'm running. How that took away my light Reaver. They're even broken down here. That's sad. How many different places they're broken. It looks like the giant squid thing's still alive.
Raziel, the failed assassin. You had Cain at your mercy, but lacked the courage to fulfill the act. And now you see the wasteland wrought by the tyrant's hand, by his selfish decision to preserve his own life, even when it meant sacrificing the whole world. This is the fate of Nosgoth, as long as Cain remains alive.
An ironic condemnation, given this guilty scene. One would think you'd torn down the pillars single-handedly. What are you trying to obliterate as you drag your loathsome body through this chamber? And why, as Nosgoth descends into madness and misery, do you appear to thrive? Things in this world, I am learning, are rarely what they seem. You, apparently, are no exception.
I am the engine of life, the source of Nosgoth's very existence. I am the hub of the wheel, the origin of all life, the devourer of death.
Or maybe you're just hungry. Could it be as simple as that? Wouldn't that be poetic irony? The great adversary of the vampires turns out to be the biggest parasite of them all.
Do not test my patience, Raziel. I made you, and I will unmake you if I become so inclined.
As your agent, I am beyond death.
There are fates worse than death, Raziel.
Oh, I see you now as you truly are. A cancer. A spooling parasite burrowed deep in the heart of this world.
Go now. Play out your pitiful rebellion and take your place among the destroyed, the used, and the damned. But know this, you are mine for eternity. You have always been, and will always be, my soul Reaver.
Sorry about that. I was gonna start something. I spoke and spit wrong. Ugh. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay, so I guess save it here, talk a little bit, then I'm getting into this video. Okay, so the Wheel of Life just told us that Raziel has always been and will always be, for all eternity, his soul Reaver. Not Reaper, Reaver. So, does that mean that in a roundabout way, the circle of life and death created the Soul Reaver and bound Raziel's soul to the sword? Is Raziel and the sword one? I'm gonna leave you guys with that question.
Cain refused
And
the sacrifice.
I will talk to you guys again in my next video. Till then, it's nice having you.